Hello again, it's Clockwork McGrim doing another speed paint. This is another one of those where I'm kind of freestyling what I'm talking about, but when am I not? At least I'm not tired this time. So, this painting is of a character of mine from the webcomic thing I'm always talking about, and I figured I would talk about like flexibility in your characters. I don't know if there's a term for that. I just call it character flexibility. And it's something I do a lot. I used to call it recycling characters, where say you have a world that you make, and in my case it was a fantasy world, so I had all these fantasy characters that went with it, dragons and magic, and it really wasn't my thing, you know? So then I switched to sci-fi, and instead of making all new characters, I just converted all of my existing characters. Oddly enough, I'm talking about this and this character isn't one of them, but, you know, whatever. He did get moved from story to story, though. So, in my specific case, I had this co-author a while ago. I've had many co-authors. The current set's pretty good. Love you guys, if you're watching this. You know who you are. But past co-authors, who will leave out names to protect the guilty, as my mother says, we just had clashes of interest, I guess. Or like there was always a genre problem. I was always the lone sci-fi, cyberpunk, whatever you call medical sci-fi writer, surrounded by people who thought they were the next Tolkien. Or one guy who thought he was, like, better than Tolkien. Don't be that guy. That's a rude guy to be. Simply because he was not, and he was. He wasn't a co-author, though. He almost was, and then, you know, I came to my senses. Anyways, character flexibility, it's, like, not a lot of people, maybe a lot of people do this, I don't know, but, like, with this guy, Luca, he was originally from a standalone story I was doing based on a really freaky nightmare I had, and a really freaky dream that I had. And the story went through a lot of mutations, I guess, and at first, Luca wasn't even the main character. He wasn't this old, he was a little kid in the first couple versions. His name changed a couple of times. Sorry about that, y'all probably just heard my Facebook go off. I'll turn my sound off now. And it took forever to place this guy in a story, and now he's gonna be in that webcomic that I'm never not talking about. But it was hard to, like, have an idea set and have it not work, and I know this happens to everybody. But I know a lot of other writers will just trash a bunch of characters and start with new ones, and I did do that once. There was so many bad vibes attached to some of them that I did just, like, proverbially burn everything I'd made. And then lo and behold, they all came back 4 years later, but whatever. If y'all have been paying attention from my DeviantArt and my Tumblr, I have characters that were my imaginary friends when I was, like, 5. I'm not even kidding. And they bear no resemblance to the characters they were when I was, like, 5. But it's still them, you know? Like, again, this guy isn't one of them. I think I came up with this guy in 2013 or 14, maybe. I think. Something like that. But visually, he's gone through a lot of revisions, as many of my characters have. If I ever set up that Patreon thing, I'll do character timelines so you can all see who they used to be and stuff like that. It's an important thing I think people should talk about, that just because something doesn't work out, you don't have to trash it. because I know people that do that, and they're always really sad. And I'm like, no, just, you know, port things, I guess. That when you port a game to another console, right? I can do trendy words. So I've done that a lot, and I don't know what the larger world thinks about that, if it's like a tacky thing to do or whatever. But it saved me a lot of time, stress, and effort. And yeah, that was kind of my feelsy discussion about all my little head children that have been abandoned and found and lost and reclaimed and taken away by other people. If you're a writer, don't get a co-author who demands creative control of everything you create. Because I did that. And boy, did that not go well. At all. And I mean, I did it so that I wouldn't just be writing like I was talking to myself. Which is why I like having co-authors. Because I get real bored of talking to myself about the universe. Because there's no contrasting opinions or viewpoints anywhere, and it's really boring. But this co-author and I had radically different ideas about what we should be writing. I wrote war stories, and she wrote I don't really know how to describe it. I guess they're romance stories, maybe, but not the kind that would gel with war stories at all. It was kind of a train wreck. I mean, we were also like in middle school, so you know, we were coping with that awkward stage. And I don't blame her. I'm just saying, if you get a co-author, have a long discussion about lore and genre and things you're gonna do, because I don't know, next round of co-authors, I had people that kept trying to put magic into my sci-fi, and I was like, how about we don't do that? And then even when they weren't doing it, they were still, like, it wasn't their thing, and they were kind of struggling. So, yeah, that's my spiel for today. My other thing is, underpaintings are great. I did one for this one, and for a painting I did for my boyfriend of a character from the story he's writing that maybe he'll post about someday. I'll put a link when he does. So yeah, underpaintings and character recycling, important skills. Yeah, alright. You know, until next time when I have other random things to say, I'm Clockwork McGrim, and you're awesome. Bye now.